Welcome to another tale, where the dice roll ends and the story begins. I held my breath as I stepped through the portal. There was a blinding light, a flash, and then I was falling to my knees in a green field. I took a breath and started to panic. Why am I alone? Has something gone wrong? Where are my friends? As I stood, I took in my surroundings. The field was very green. A dense canopy of trees started just ahead of me, and there was a winding path going up a hill. Something was coming towards me down the path, not humanoid, but four-legged. I relaxed. I did not know why, but I did not feel threatened. I felt calm. The spaniel trotted up to me, tongue lolling and tail wagging. I held up my hand for it to sniff, which it did, and it finished the smell inspection with a lick of my fingers. The dog then nudged me with its snout and jogged back off to the path, stopping at the trees to look back at me. I guess it wants me to follow? I started after the spaniel up the path until the trees cleared and I could see the top of the hill. There was a man standing atop it, looking away from us. The dog nudged me again and continued. I followed, but a bit slower this time. As we reached the top, I stopped, a short distance from the back of the tall man. The spaniel, though, continued up to him and licked his left hand, tail wagging. Without turning, a strong but fatherly voice entered my head. "Hailson, my son, it has been too long." The man turned. He had long greying hair and a strong beard, a bandage covering his eyes. His armor was worn but beautifully made, and he had a warhammer across his back, which sang of energies I did not know. As he turned, I noticed a light glow coming from around his head, and also from his chest. The emblem, a hammer above scales. The spaniel sat next to its master as I fell to my knees in front of my God, tears falling down my face because Tyr had called me to him. "Stand, Hailson. You do not need to kneel before me. Your actions have brought you here, not your genuflection." I opened my eyes to dare to look at him again. He was now seated on a large-backed stone chair, and a smaller one was in front of him. He gestured with his right arm, a glowing, misty hand, directing me to sit. I stood slowly and moved to the chair. "You had fallen, Hailson. You were faithless. Tell me about the rectory." Although I started to worry, his voice was calming, loving, but in a fatherly way. "When I saw what had become of your house, defiled, destroyed, rage burned inside me. I knew justice had to be brought on those that had desecrated your values. I had never fully lost my faith, but I did fall from its grace. I knew I could not lie or hold back or try to deceive Tyr about my feelings or thoughts. I let the dark side of me take over. The anger, vengeance, and with no control. The thought of what had happened to your priests drove me. Then the thought came to me like I had never forgotten. My family, I ended quietly. I put my friends in danger to try and kill them all for what they did. When I fell to their swords, I almost died. Luckily, my friends saved me. I needed to find you then, I realized. Which is when I crawled to your symbol to ask for strength. But you did not help me. He smiled as he looked at me. Hailson, all of my followers are family, and you did well, my son. You sacrificed much in the fight, and now, with your honesty. I did not answer then to see where your heart was. I see a spark was relit in your faith. That is why you are now here, my son. Do you not want to be part of my family? Can you reject the black wings and find your faith in me? With my head bowed, tears still streaming down my face, I gave the answer my head and heart desired. Holy Father of the Just House. Yes. He stood and stepped towards me. Then I require an oath from you. Anything, my Lord Tyr. This may be difficult for you, my son. You shall not strike in blind rage, for justice requires a steady eye. For every life you must take to end injustice, you shall strive to mend another. You bear the burdens of your family, so they need not stand alone. He lifted my chin with his left hand. If you take this oath, gone are those black wings and the torment they bring. They will become like steel to protect your family. You will give off my light instead of draining life. You will protect souls. Your hands will give life. Do you accept this oath, Hailson? He released my chin as I looked at where his eyes would be behind the bandage, his forehead glowing in a radiant light. Father of the Just House, my hand was empty and my heart was cold. I was a hammer without a smith, a shadow without a light. By this broken steel you found me. By this blood you stayed my rage. I offer you my breath, my bow, and my blood. Let my bolts strike the wicked as a father's rebuke, and let my spirit mend the broken as a father's embrace. The scales are set, and the eye is steady. In your name, dear, I am mended. Yes, I accept this oath with all I have. He smiled as he spoke. Then, my son, you are redeemed. He brought something out from beneath his cloak, the broken symbol from the rectory. It still had my bloody handprint upon it. It started to glow. The cracks reformed. The scales straightened. A sun appeared instead of one of the weights, and the hammer rose from beneath to take the place of the other, perfectly balanced. He leant forward and touched the symbol to my chest. My armor took the symbol and held it firmly over my heart. Its glow sealed it into the studded leather. The black dye faded to blue, the edges of the armor to white. My black cape also turned blue, trimmed with a fine white. When you reached for this broken symbol, with steel in your rage, you found only half of me. Now that you have found your faith, the symbol is whole. It shows you two faces because the world has two needs. The hammer to break the tyrant, and the sun to lift the fallen. Do not fear the fire in your bow, so long as you keep the water in your cup. He put his hand and stump onto my shoulders and talked to me about the world. My son, a blade that only cuts is a tool of murder. A bandage that only hides the rot is a tool of delusion. To be a justicar is to be both. You strike the infection to save the body, and you bind the wound to preserve the life. The scales do not stay level on their own. You must move them. He strode back and sat in his chair, the spaniel looking up at him lovingly. He reached down to pet it. The hunger of the void is a power that takes without giving. That is now gone. The overflow of the sun is a power that gives so much it can mend a soul. Remember these tenets, Hailson, for they are your future and my will. He looked to my side and saw my scimitar. You will not be needing that anymore either. You are my family now. This will be more fitting. The scimitar disappeared. I felt a weight across my legs. A simple warhammer, with the same scales, with the sun and hammer as weights on either side of the head, sat in my lap. Tyr smiled. Go now, my son. Your family needs you. And with a flash of light, I arrived at the other side of the portal with my party. This chapter is closed, but the campaign is far from over. If you enjoyed this glimpse into the dark, leave a like to keep the archives open. Subscribe so you don't miss where the path leads next. There is always another tale.